Homeless camps are morphing into larger homeless cities in LA. Mind you, Los Angeles and California as a whole has been spending billions upon billions of dollars to fight homelessness. They say to fight homelessness, but yet it's worse than it has ever been. This is progressive policies. This is leftist policies in action. They never ever fix the things they're supposed to be fixing, even though there's tons of money allocated to it. So we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna play a clip from a local LA ABC News. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Zero Hedge, and they report that a massive homeless encampment in Koreatown has grown into what neighbors describe as a city of its own, complete with a tennis court, garden, barbecue pit, and even illegally rigged electricity, according to the New York Post. Quote, "The reason why people are sleeping here is because you leaders are sleeping on not taking initiative and action to clean this place up," resident Daniel King told ABC7. Neighbors say they've watched people pry open a street light, install a surge protector inside, and run extension cords across the street to power the camp. Quote, "Thank God it hasn't rained in a while," said Sagman Lee. "It's a fire hazard. Then they run the cable across the street, and it's a trip hazard for everyone." Lee also pointed out, quote, "There's a tennis court there, a garden where they're growing stuff. There's a barbecue pit," another neighbor said. Max Smith summed it up. "It's a city in there. It's crazy. It's crazy." And so they know this place exists, but the authorities and the leaders and the mayor is doing absolutely nothing about it, even though they have billions, like I said, billions upon billions of dollars allocated to fighting this crisis, right? The Post writes that residents say the camp has created safety concerns, with one woman telling ABC7 she avoids walking her dog near the site after being approached by people from the encampment. An ABC7 crew was also threatened while reporting there. City Council member Katie Yaroslavsky said officials are hamstrung because the property is privately owned. "It's over bureaucratic. It's the city at its worst, sort of, not being able to get out of its own way," she admitted. So wait a minute. Because it's private property, they claim they can't do anything about it. But mind you, you need to go through the county and jump through loopholes and stuff like that just to build a freaking shed. I always harken back to Bill Maher. Bill Maher said it took him like 2 or 3 years to build a shed on his own property. So they can restrict that. They can do stuff about that. About you, a law-abiding citizen that pays taxes. They can hamstring you from building a freaking shed, but yet they can't do anything about homelessness because it's on a private property. Make that make sense to me. The lot belongs to a Delaware-based LLC that has not responded to inquiries. Slavsky said no trespassing signs will soon go up, allowing police to act. Meanwhile, the city agencies are ordering the owner to address the trash and security issues. Excuse me, y'all. My eyes are burning. My allergies are bad. Hold on a second. All right. Meanwhile, city agencies are ordering the owner to address, like I said, trash and security issues, and Public Works will wrap the tampered streetlight to stop further power theft. Mayor Karen Bass' office said outreach teams have been sent to offer housing to people living there. They're not listening. Like, terrible leader. Karen Bass is one of the worst mayors of all time. Next up there with Mayor Brandon Johnson. Sorry, y'all. My eyes are burning. It goes on to say, and so, in true Los Angeles fashion, liberal leaders have managed to turn housing the homelessness into letting them build a better planned city than the one City Hall runs, complete with amenities, hazards, and zero accountability. Wow. So let's play this clip here. I probably won't play this entire clip because it's 7 minutes long, but we'll see. Let's play this clip here Hear what the local ABC7 has to say about all of this. Here we go.
New this morning, an empty lot on South Manhattan Place in Koreatown, there's the map, is now the subject of a 7 on Your Side investigation. This kind of gives you an idea where it is. This empty space is nestled near apartment complexes and other buildings between 7th and 8th Street. But this is what it looks like from the air. You've got multiple people calling this space home. You can see the dwellings right there. It's really an encampment, and it's different than others because it's on a private lot, and that proves to be a challenge for neighbors and the city. Investigative reporter Kevin Ozebek spoke with some of the neighbors about their concerns.
Imagine paying LA rent prices and you end up with a view of this. This fast-growing homeless encampment has popped up on a vacant lot in Koreatown, and neighbors are livid.
The reason why people are sleeping here is because you leaders are sleeping on not taking initiative and action to clean this place up.
Now it's a city in there. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Street level, it's hard to see inside unless you go to where people have cut a huge hole into the fence. But from above, you can see there's now even a makeshift sports court in there.
It's a whole community, right? There's a tennis court. There's a garden where they're growing stuff. There's a barbecue pit.
Singman Lee contacted 7 on Your Side Investigates because he's worried about how people in this encampment have ripped open this streetlight, stuck a surge protector in there, and are running power from it across the street and into the encampment. In turn, we then contacted District 5 Council member Katie Yaroslavsky.
From your perspective, where did this go wrong, and why are people in your district still dealing with this property?
So I think that the challenge comes from the fact that this is private property. But because it's private property, there's a different path. And that path is convoluted, it's over-bureaucratic, it's the city at its worst, sort of not being able to get out of its own way.
The owner of the
LA
property is an LLC registered in Delaware. They never returned our request for comment, but the council member says they are cooperating and should be putting up no trespassing signs along this fence soon, which will then allow LAPD to step in. LA's Department of Building Safety says it's issuing an order to comply to the property owner to address the security, rubbish, garbage, trash, and debris. As for the electric rigging, while 7 on Your Side was there, someone came out of the encampment, unplugged the cord, wrapped up the wiring, and slipped right back inside.
Wow. So what is the city's public works department going to do to make sure power isn't taken from that streetlight again? Well, the answer tonight at 5 when we take an even deeper dive into the story. In LA's Koreatown, Kevin Ozebek, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Kevin joins us now, and there's so much to unpack on this. The first thing that jumps to mind, we've had violent crime that is done by people who are experiencing homelessness.
Hold on. According to Karen Bass and Newsom, there is no violent crime out there in California and LA. Like, they don't need the National Guard out there. Remember that? So what is this guy talking about, right?
I can't imagine the security issues for something like this.
You know, tonight at 5, you're going to hear from a young woman who lives around that encampment. She's now afraid to walk her dog around there. She says several people from that encampment have approached her while she's walking alone. I have to say, when we were out there, photojournalist Sean Callis and I were threatened by somebody around there. The people in that encampment, to put it lightly, maybe you're not the most savory, not the most polite people in there. And that's one of the reasons why residents living around there, reached out to 7 on Your Side Investigates. It's not just the blight and the eyesore. They also have major safety concerns, also fire concerns, given there's that power cord running across the street.
Well, yes, and that theft, we've talked about copper wire theft and all that kind of stuff. This is power that somebody is paying for, clearly. But I want to go back to you being there and then pulling up the cable. A lot of people might not realize when you have these types of encampments, they have their own security. They are very protective of their space. So I have to believe that they saw you there, they didn't want you there, and you couldn't go in there or you would have been at risk. And that's 2 of you. There are 2 of you there. I can't imagine what it's like for people who might be walking by.
Yeah, and because of time constraints, there's only so much you can put in this story. One of the other major concerns that people have there that we also experienced when we were out there is there's just a lot of waste, whether that's human or animal or whatever it is. it stinks around there. So there's also safety concerns regarding that. You have to really watch where you're stepping around there because
Needles?
yes, but also feces of some sort from some sort of animal or human are all around that encampment too. So there's a stench on top of all of this as well. And the reason why people get so frustrated with this, Philip, is they complain to 311, they file the complaints, but they don't see anything being done.
Yeah.
Now, this is a
Democrats run this city. So I mean, they have destroyed this once great city, and they'll never be held accountable. Because they're gonna next election, LA is gonna vote in another Democrat mayor that's soft on crime and that don't know how to manage money, and they're gonna continue to be more and more homeless encampments put up like this around the city. It's sad. It's sad. Is there some type of disconnect there where you continue to vote people in that don't do anything to help you? It's crazy to me. Insanity.
term I've heard used by multiple people. It's called the circular firing squad. And that's what this strikes me as. Because it's private property, you have all of these different entities that could do something, but they keep pointing the finger at somebody else, and we have this circular firing squad. Nobody gets...
It's the Spider-Man meme. They're all pointing at each other.
Anything done, but they're blaming everybody else.
And I think that's why the council member, Katie Yaroslavsky, came out and actually wanted to speak to us.
To the location,
yes,
to her
to the
credit,
location.
to the location.
Because she said the exact same thing. She goes, this isn't working, right? Like, somebody complains to LADBS, that's the Department of Building and Safety. She said her office complained, but it took weeks for them to send an inspector out there. She says that is not acceptable. And the reason that's important is that city entity can start to file an order of comply to the property owner, whether they are local or in this case a Delaware LLC, to have to make some sort of movement. You know, you got to get this property up to code. One of the things she talked about, and what we'll go in tonight at 5, is she goes, in order for a property to be labeled nuisance in the city of LA, it can potentially take years.
Wow.
And you may remember 7 on Your Side a few months ago did a story about people reached out to us in Hollywood. There was a building that became vacant. People started moving into it. They started setting fires in there just to keep warm. But then, you know, there's PTSD after what happened in January here. People were seeing fires started very close to their apartments. Well, a week after our story, it burned down.
Wow.
They were also pointing the finger at LADBS for not moving fast enough and getting these properties, pushing them into compliance.
It is very frustrating. I think we're probably out of time. But I worry and I challenge these people who are in charge. Do we have to wait for somebody to be hurt? We have watched people hiding in hallways, staying on roofs, doing all the people experiencing homelessness who are also mentally ill, cause harm to people who are residents. Is that what's going to happen here before something is urgently done?
Hopefully not in this case, because the councilwoman says, given all the steps that are happening now, this should be cleaned up in a few weeks. And of course, we will keep on top of it and see if, in fact, that actually happens.
Yeah, and Kevin, thank you. But I just want, this is a big problem all across the city. They may fix this one, but if they don't come up with a plan to fix all of them, this is just going to keep happening.
Yeah, one last thing. Singman Lee is the one who actually reached out to us, the resident who heard from. He goes, I should not have to be reaching out to Channel 7 in order to get answers and movement here.
That's true.
I 100% agree. Kevin, thank you. Sadly, we'll do many more stories like this.
That's what happened when you have Democrats running your city. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.